it's fun to be on your own and to have the freedom, but it's also overwhelming because you're right there at school.
It's really just within yourself to try and keep yourself straight, but sometimes you learn the best by trying, and it's not always a good thing.
You're at people's apartments, you're in people's dorm rooms, you have to make your own choices, so it's definitely important to always be prepared.
Some students are more mature than others. We are here to help them with time management issues or knowing when they should seek health care or get involved with psychological counseling if they're having roommate issues or any of those kinds of things that can happen.
Life is kind of crazy, especially for a freshman. I remember one night, I think it was like late at night, and I was going to the bathroom, and we all shared. Each floor had like their own bathroom, their own shower. I mean, yeah, everyone would share the same shower, same bathroom. And I was going to the bathroom, and there was EMTs and paramedics pulling a girl out of the shower because she was throwing up, and she had alcohol poisoning. School wasn't even started yet, and she was like expelled and suspended or whatever she was, and that was kind of crazy, especially for like the first week being there.
The students that do have a history of drinking in high school usually continue to drink in college unless they've gotten to the stage where they recognize that they have an addiction problem and they have sought out assistance to promote their own recovery. The difficulty is when a student doesn't realize that they should be asking or looking to get some assistance, and that it's not a weakness to be able to go and ask somebody to help them.
As far as STDs goes, nobody thinks it's going to happen to them, really. Everybody kind of has this, especially, with young males, I find it happens even more. Everybody still has kind of that I'm invincible mentality, and they think they're just, they're ready for the world. They just come to college. They're just getting all their freedom, so they don't really want to think about setting rules and limitations for themselves, which is another big problem.
The range of sexually transmitted infections in the college-age population is the same as it is in the general population, which includes herpes, human papillomavirus, HIV, gonorrhea, syphilis, and chlamydia.
I personally had a suite mate. I lived in a suite with 3 rooms. Each 2 rooms had 2 people in them, and 1 room was a single. And the room with the single, this kid lived there, and he and his girlfriend would fight and yell and scream at each other all night. And they would also have very rough sex all the time. And I would walk in and my roommate would be sitting there trying to take notes, and he's had the music up so loud, and still through the walls you could hear just not what you want to hear, and certainly something that doesn't help you concentrate on, U.S. history or global economics.
Roommates can find themselves in a very difficult situation when they're concerned about their roommate that they feel is putting themselves in a dangerous situation, and they really shouldn't feel that they need to shoulder that burden alone. There are administrators on campus to help direct the student in need to the appropriate resources.
It's definitely important to keep in mind that stuff like that can happen, and it's probably most important to talk to them. A lot of the time it doesn't happen that way because, for instance, this kid would not be reconciled, so we didn't live with him the second year.
If the roommate is not receptive to the notion that they should be seeking some assistance, then we encourage the other roommates to bring it to a higher level.
I think it's really important to talk to your health services and make sure you always have protection with you because a lot of the time people just don't think, and they get in a situation and they're not prepared for it.
It got into a lot of trouble, from unarmed robbery to drug dealing, gun selling. I got involved in gangs, just hanging around with the wrong people, and with my luck, I didn't get caught for a lot of stuff that I done. I did get busted for the unarmed robbery. I was scared. When I was younger, I was more a follower than a leader, and my point of view now is I'm more of a leader than a follower. I ended up getting my GED and started classes at college, where I would be graduating with an associate's degree in business and plan to transfer to a 4-year school to get a bachelor's. You have to balance the work, the school, and the family. A lot of people see a big difference in me, mentally and physically. But before, it was just, you didn't want to see who I was. And I was afraid to show my personality because I just had an ugly personality. Now I'm actually not afraid to show my personality. Life is all about making the right choices. If you decide to go out and drink knowing that you have a final the next day, pay the consequences. You're going to get a low grade. You're going to be unsatisfied. Who knows, your parents might be unsatisfied also, because they're pretty much the ones paying for your academics. But life is what you make out of it, pretty much. If you want to live a nice, healthy life, you got that option.